We told you we have some new jobs numbers for July. The report painting a picture of where we are in this economic recovery and how far we still have to go. The Labor Department is saying that U.S. employers added some 162,000 jobs. That's fewer than what was expected. But it is enough to lower the unemployment rate, which dropped to 7.4%. That is a number we haven't seen since the Bush administration. House Speaker John Boehner saying this following the new report, quote, 3 years after the Obama administration proclaimed welcome to the recovery, we're still seeing the same thing month after month, not enough new jobs, and an unemployment rate far higher than promised. Douglas Holtz-Eakin is the president of American Action Forum and a former director of the Congressional Budget Office. It's great to see you. What's your impression of these numbers? Are they, well, obviously they weren't as good as expected, but are they worse than they appear?
Well, it's a here we go again story. Each time you get something that looks to be good news, 162,000 jobs and a decline in the unemployment rate, when you dig inside that report, what you find is that fewer Americans are looking for work. They're discouraged. Those who are working fewer hours. When they work, they get less pay on average per hour, and more of them are working part-time when they'd prefer to work full-time. So in a really robust recovery, you'd see income growing, employment growing, people joining the labor force. What we get instead are good news, bad news reports month after month, and we're really just sort of muddling along.
We talked about what Speaker Boehner had to say. Here's what the White House said, this statement just coming out after the numbers. While more work remains to be done, today's employment report provides further confirmation that the U.S. economy is continuing to recover from the worst downturn since the Great Depression. Is that accurate?
Well, it was the worst recession since the Great Depression. But remember, the White House's strategy here is to keep pointing back and saying, look, it's not our fault. This is all just really bad. But we're now in the 5th year of recovery. The recovery officially started in June 2009. The economy is not anywhere close to what it should be. And the administration's strategy has been to blame its predecessors and to really just try to set expectations very low. So we'll be happy at 7.4% unemployment and happy with 162,000 jobs. Americans should be neither. This is a labor market that's very weak.
Based on the time you spent in the Congressional Budget Office and the status of where we are, where a budget is concerned, and even people at home who have to manage their budget and don't have a job, where do we go from here? Should it be status quo? Should some change take place? 200,000 was the number, I believe, that came out initially to maintain even status quo, not turn things around.
Yeah, we need a lot more jobs. We need something like 250,000 jobs every month so that we not only employ those who are coming into the labor force, we eat into that backlog of very high unemployment for 20 million Americans. But on top of that, the missing ingredient has been income growth. As I mentioned, we didn't see wages rise, we saw them fall. We didn't see hours of work go up, we saw them decline. We've seen the median income, the median family income in the United States decline during the recovery. That's not a genuine recovery for those who have jobs. So we need to change the playbook. If we had structural reforms like a real tax reform, like real entitlement reforms, a real immigration reform and regulatory reform, things that are not one-time stimulus and the kind of playbook we've seen, if we did those things, we could grow much more rapidly.
Douglas, let me ask you, what is the impact of the cost of Obamacare on employers hiring?
Nothing good. The case you hear made by the advocates of Obamacare is that, oh, look, they were having insurance before, which means that the best possible impact is zero. The reality is much worse. It's a big impediment to growth by small employers. The large employers are scrubbing their books trying to figure out whether to hold on to insurance. It's got $1 trillion in taxes and $2.5 trillion in new spending. Nobody who wanted an economy to grow faster would say, hey, you know what we need? $1 trillion in taxes and a big new entitlement spending program. That's not a recipe for growth.
All right, Douglas Holtz-Eakin, very interesting analysis, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.